Hi. So monoculture is destroying our farming lands. And what we need to do to change that is that we need to implement crop rotation into our farmlands. The problem with monoculture, which let's define monoculture to begin with. Monoculture is repetitive cycling of the same crop over and over again. This becomes a problem because of soil degradation. Soil degradation is when a lot of the same nutrients keep on getting taken away from the soil. This makes the soil less rich with the same nutrients that are being taken away. This also doesn't help because it takes away from the natural biodiversity of the place, but also bio barriers. This can affect animals that are naturally there, but since the plant is an invasive species, takes away from their natural eating habits. This also contributes to more synthetic waste being pumped into our earth and also being pumped into our food. This is all according to the Regenerative website. We've also find links that monoculture has increased the area of deserts because of such nutrients being pumped out, making the grass or the soil virtually useless. The solution for this is crop rotation. Crop rotation is when we use different plants at a steady pace for other things, not just having the same thing. We'll see a demonstration right here. This plant will be represented by corn. Corn tends to take nitrogen away from the earth. So the earth and soil tends to have less nitrogen nutrients. But with crop rotation, the next plant coming in would be soybeans. Soybeans are very famous for having nitrogen being pumped back into the earth. This helps have the soil maintain its rich nutrients. But with monoculture, this corn plant takes away the nitrogen, and then the next crop comes in, and as we see, the corn plant normally takes away nitrogen, so it continues to take it away. The problem is that when we take away the nitrogen, it doesn't come back, unlike soybeans putting it back. So we have to use synthetic materials and fertilizers to put it back, which cost more money for the company. Now, this is only one of the benefits for crop rotation. Another thing is that it uses less water. Since the nutrients in the ground are now more and has more variety, this is healthy soil. And healthy soil tends to maintain water a lot better than unhealthy soil that's less nutrient rich. It's also better for the planet. As I mentioned, when we don't have enough nitrogen in here, we have to use synthetic materials. And a lot of these synthetic materials ruin the natural state of the farm land. It also uses a lot less chemicals, and this is according to the United Nations University page. Um, it's a lot less dangerous for animals as well. Not only the fauna around, but also the pollinators, such as bees and other butterfly type animals. We see this because a lot of these chemicals are great for the soil because it implements these nutrients, but since it's synthetic and not natural, a lot of the pollinators get killed off. We see this in the big declinations of bee population and farming places where they use all these synthetic fertilizers. Now, you may be asking, that's all great and good, but what can I do? What we can do is talk to your local officials in the government or also call your representatives so we can have more passes to try to implement these into big commercial things. Because although small farms can help implement this because it helps them save money, a lot of it is bigger corporations. We can also try to reduce our corn intake. A lot of corn food and corn byproducts, such as corn syrup and corn starch, are greatly made by corn. And corn is one of the biggest monoculture crops that we have out there. And as you can see in our thing, it takes away from the nitrogen of the soil. And nitrogen is extremely important to the soil. On top of that, we can also try to educate ourselves and educate others. We don't want to stand idly by while we see such things destroy the earth that we have for us and our proper generations. So let's try to help with the degradation of the soil, monoculture, trying to reduce monoculture, and trying to increase crop rotation, not only for the economy but our food, because a lot of the food that we have now is very fake and pumped full of chemicals. So let's try to go back to that natural state of living to where we can have more natural food and less chemical inducing food. So yes, you should definitely try to implement this into our day-to-day lives.